Bum, 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 bum.
Bum, bum, bum.
What's up, you guys? It's Stephanie Lou. Hey! And I've got my homegirl, Mariana Cimino here, and today we're going to be talking about influencer marketing. So, if you are here and you are watching live, go ahead and leave a comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from. I'm here in San Diego. Mariana, where are you?
I'm in San Diego, right here local. Let's do it.
And you know what's funny? It's like, I swear it's 60 degrees right now, but I feel like I'm freezing. I've got like blankets on me.
Sweater. I'm like, what is this? Are we in San Diego or what?
I know. San Diego peeps, like when it comes to the weather, we're ridiculous. So sorry about that, you guys. Anyways, if you guys are just joining, go ahead and leave a comment. Let us know that you're here. Today, we're going to be talking about influencer marketing as a means for you to go ahead and build your brand, help it get known, and pretty much just put it on the fast track. That way, you don't feel like you have to do all of your marketing by yourself. Right, Mariana?
Totally. Let's get some help on that strategy.
Okay, great. So, Mariana, oh my goodness. You guys, let me tell you about Mariana. I met Mariana, was it maybe like 6 years ago?
Probably, 5 or 6 at this point. It kind of seems like a long time, but it's like, keep on rolling.
Keep on rolling. Yeah, so 5 or 6 years ago, and I remember when you and I first had lunch, I think it was at Little Italy in San Diego. You took me out for coffee, and I thought we went out for lunch. And then you were asking me all these questions about like how to get into social media marketing, and now you're like the freaking director of client services at Casual Fridays, so...
Time. It's amazing. It's amazing, like one conversation with you and just being part of all the conversations in San Diego, and here I am, totally passionate about it and going full in.
Dude,
totally.
You're such a hustler. This is why I love her, you guys, because Mariana, when she is so passionate about, she's from Argentina, by the way, so she gets really super passionate, and she like goes all in, and she's just been putting that not only just in her personal life, but especially in her work ethic. Like, she's absolutely crushing it. So having said that, welcome to the show, Mariana. So happy to
Thank you. Let's do this. So excited to be here and again, like connect with you in this new way. You know, I feel like we're usually doing it behind the scenes. So let's chat it up. I love it.
For sure. And I just want to go ahead and give a shout out to Samantha. Thank you so much for joining, Samantha. So good to see you. She's in LA. So Sam, I hope you're coming up for Social Media Marketing World because I'll be there. Are you going to be there, Mariana?
I think so. Of course. The social media event of the year.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then we have Elizabeth who is here as well. We just sent emails, so like we're like totally connected today. And then Caroline is here from Ireland. Whoa.
Hello.
I don't know why I just got freaked out. I guess I'm just
all over.
Yeah, I'm just always surprised at how far reaching live streaming could be, because you and I were just like, okay, cool, San Diego, Sam is in LA. But wait, hold up, Ireland? That's cool.
That's awesome.
All right. So the reason why we're talking about influencer marketing today is because Mariana is the go-to marketing expert for that. And don't turn red. Because
you can see right through me.
I know. Because you are. You spoke at Social Media Day San Diego and you absolutely crushed it. And just recently you were at PRSA. And so I heard great things about that as well. So awesome. So having said that, let's talk about, well, what is influencer marketing? In your own words, how would you describe what influencer marketing is?
Yeah, it's a really good question to kind of look at from the beginning, because I think that successful influencer marketing is not just defining what an influencer is. It kind of takes the step of aligning what it is that your brand wants to do and what the influencer wants to do. So to me, that means when they get each other's goals, each other's needs, each other's values. So influencer marketing is being able to use a strategic shortcut for your brand or business in a way that aligns with your goals, but also takes into consideration what's on the other side. Who is this influencer? That human-to-human connection of leveraging that relationship that they have with their audience and what you're trying to accomplish in your business.
Okay. And so we have people like Samantha on here who's a best-selling author. We have a bunch of viewers that are also small business owners and entrepreneurs. Would it make sense for them to also leverage influencer marketing, or is that usually just reserved for your big brand Fortune 500 companies?
Oh, no, definitely not. I always say, hey, if there's an idea out there, then I think it's always worth testing. Obviously, some industries are going to perform a little bit better the things I have experience with would be hospitality industry, products or services where, you know, it's very tangible that an influencer can go experience that and then post about it, right? So when it's a little bit harder, as we were talking earlier, like if you're a plumber, that may be a little bit harder to kind of figure out what the right content might be for an influencer to post about, but definitely not reserved for big brands only. I think it's where there's a will, there's a way type of thing. If you know your goal and you can find a person that's passionate and has the right audience listening to them, influencer marketing can be a thing that you can leverage.
Oh, very, very cool. And so quick shout out to Juan Santiago and Jenny Jacobs. Burke, she's tuning in from Boston, so hey. All right, so when it comes to influencer marketing, what are some things that you should be aware of? Like, if someone says on their Instagram profile, I'm an influencer. Is that I'm an influencer. You saw that one article about the girl, the viral one where she's like, I'm coming to your town. Can I stay at your hotel? And he completely lambasted her. How do you qualify an influencer for your business? This is what you're gonna do.
Yeah. So if Josh Hager is watching, because I did this presentation with him in Social Media Day, he's gonna just your question alone, like set him over the edge. But yeah, influence is a result of something. It's not the something. So we always, you know, if you see an influencer or a person that has influencer as part of their bio on Instagram, like that's not it, guys. Like do not work with those people. Just because it really is a result of something. When you're working with influencers, you're really looking for three key things. They can be on different levels, but there is trust, reach, and content. So the first thing is, have they built the right trust with their audience? So when they post something, people actually take it like it's believable because they've been following their journey along the way, right? So that's like that trust element of it. The reach of it, well, this is another hot topic, right? Because Mark Zuckerberg's, 2018 goal is to clean up the news feed. And this has sent a lot of people into, oh my gosh, like is my content going to get seen organically? So influencers can be a great way to bump up that reach for you in a very trustworthy and organic way. And lastly, there's content, right? So a lot of people want just that buzz, but I think us at Casual Fridays, we really see influencers as on the leg of content creation, right? So if you work with an influencer and they create the type of content that you can use in your ads or in your marketing, to me that means you've got your buck's worth, right? So you are actually able to take that strategy and make it last for longer. So with working with influencers, I would say you have to look at those three buckets of trust, reach, and content and figure out where that influencer falls into play.
And so when you're looking for influencers, how do you go about actually finding influencers?
Yes, that's also a really big piece of the puzzle. So influencer marketing is a human-to-human connection, okay? So there's no database, no software that's going to give you the shortcut that you need in order for you to step away from it and have it run on autopilot. So at Casual Fridays, we're working on building a system that it's repeatable. So when a client approaches us, we're able to kind of take them through that flow without, the client actually worrying about it. But if you're a small business owner and you have to do this yourself, the first place that I would go is the good old hashtags. Okay. Let's go figure out what in your industry people are talking about and what are those people that are at the top posts. So when you go on Instagram, you can actually see who those top posts are. Mm-hmm. That's where I start my search usually. And then the other place is, we use a lot of user-generated content in our business, and we look at geotag locations. So we'll go on Instagram and kind of check out where your location is for your business and kind of see who's posting about it. And usually that actually leads to finding influencers or people with a lot of followings that maybe they didn't even, like you weren't even trying to approach them, but that's a really good place to go activate somebody who's already passionate about your brand or business.
Oh, because they're already creating content for it. So
right,
like a no-brainer for them. So going back to not having influencer in your bio, I'm actually starting to see a new trend where people are saying content creator. I'm a content creator. Would you say that that's probably along the same lines, or that's perceived differently now?
Thinking emoji. I think it's perceived differently because in one way, when you get to somebody's feed, you can tell if they are honing in on their craft to create the type of content that's going to have that longevity. So we like to call it, so there's user generated content, and then we kind of are talking about it like user commission content, right? So when you're working with an influencer, it's a little bit like you're giving them a sandbox and you're saying, hey, you know, if you're coming to our hotel and we're offering you a 2-night stay, we're really looking to feature the pool, the outdoor bar, and like, you know, the front desk or something like that. So you give them that sandbox and they create content along that side. So I wouldn't be completely straight away from somebody that says content creator on their feed, especially if they are a photographer that happens to have a niche. I think that's kind of where, you know, the raised hands emoji comes into play. It's the gold mine, right? You're finding somebody who's passionate and then they're in a niche.
Oh, okay, good. I love the fact that you speak in emojis.
It's today's world, man. Every time.
You do this in client meetings?
Well, you know, if it's appropriate, I do throw in the occasional. I do realize that I just did 2 in a row a little too quick, but yes.
No, I love it though. Okay. Do not filter yourself, Mariana, because we have known each other for way too long. And I think if you were to like all of a sudden jump on the show and just be all like, no, I'm like, no, block the camera. This is not my.
That's not you. That's not you. Exactly. So I'm trying to give it real to you guys. And raise hand emoji if it's content creator and they have a niche. There we go.
You guys. She makes me laugh so much that like I want to cry, and it's like it's cracking me up. But before we go on, I just want to give a shout out to Diane, Jessica, Carlin. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. If you guys have any questions about influencer marketing, like this, did I do it? No, this way. Wait, no, this way. Shit, I can't do it.
This way.
Her, whatever, her. If you have any questions about influencer marketing, go ahead and drop them in the comments because I am keeping an eye on them. And as you could already tell, Mariana knows her stuff when it comes to influencer marketing. So for sure, go ahead and drop them in the comments, whatever industry you're in. I know, Diane, that you do like personal concierge services. So drop that in there. Jessica works with nonprofits, and Patty does she does like some healthy biz coaching. And Patty, you actually have a show going on at 12 o'clock. So shout out to you for like watching a live show when you should be prepping for yours. All right, cool. So going back to the wonderful, awesome questions that I have for you, which by the way, you guys, can I just say that I love Mariana's background? I just put you on full blast.
You did. I can't help. This is me, you guys. This is happening. The color. It's Monday. Let's do this thing. That's me.
You're so lucky I don't use a green screen anymore because like you would be fading.
This would not work. Yeah, this would not work at all.
Okay, cool. So since we're talking a lot about influencers, what are the 3 types of influencers that you've seen along your journey in working with clients? Because you've worked with clients like Caboo Del Mar, Marriott, Jersey Mike's Subs, and like so many more that you're consulting on. So what are the 3 types of influencers that our audience, our viewers can go ahead and tap into? Or just more of?
Yeah, no. So let's talk about, you know, there's no cookie cutter answer here, but I'm going to talk about it in buckets. And then it would be good if we can kind of look at a chart so I can give you guys kind of a guide. But the way we kind of break it down is there's the large audience. So somebody who's got a ton of followers and mediocre content. So you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. You go to their page and it's like a ton of followers, but then they're doing selfies. And like, that's pretty much, it's like their face. You don't really get much content into like context into what they're doing, what products they're grabbing. So those are most likely going to be those people that you're going for reach. Right? So you know that the people are going to see their content. I mean, you know, that's kind of iffy nowadays too, but for the most part, if they have a mass audience, that's who's going to be seeing their content. Then there's excellent content and average audience. I love this category. I feel like this is, especially if you're a small business owner, these are the up and comers, right? So there's a lot of influencers that we've worked with that don't have a lot of following. So they start at the 5,000 mark. I really like starting at the 5,000. That's probably like as slow as I would go. Yeah. But they do have really amazing content, right? So if they walk into one of my hotels or if they walk into a music festival and they take incredible content, that's going to be something I can repurpose forever and ever and ever. So for me, like that's a really nice middle bucket. And then there's the holy grail, which is the large audience, excellent content. So these individuals have fostered the audience. People are listening to what they've got to say and they've got amazing content to match it. So those are kind of the 3 buckets. And I know that I kind of pinged over to you a nice little chart, Stephanie, that maybe is helpful to kind of pull up as I look at it. And I can't see it, so let me know when it's up. And
I totally have it on the screen. So
okay.
I'm just going to like enlarge it a little bit.
All right. So the first thing I want to say about this chart is don't read it like a chart. Like people try to read it like from right to left. I know it's a chart. I haven't figured out like how to do this in a way that your brain doesn't try to do what it normally does. But so there's really 4 buckets here. We're going to look at the audience size. We're going to look at the niche. We're going to look at the engagement, and we're going to look at the type of content. So the way I've been using this is kind of pick your own adventure. Okay. So when you're determining, hey, maybe I have these 5 people that I want to work with, you're kind of saying, okay, so I'm going to circle what kind of audience they have. And then the next piece is going to be, well, how are they? Are they posting about random stuff all the time? And like, you can't really tell what rail they're on type of thing? Are they kind of focused in beauty? So you're going to see a bunch of different beauty things, or are they only posting about music festivals, right? So like, then like, okay, the people that follow them are most likely interested in that. Then there's the engagement rate, which, ranges, but, sometimes I see a lot of people that have a ton of followers and you get there, they got like 15 likes. I'm like, something doesn't add up there. So that's something to be wary of for sure. Cause I'm like, you could have bought your followers. And now if you're not putting engaging conversational content out there, people ain't engaging with it. So like, you just kind of have to figure out where exactly you are in that chart. And then lastly, but most importantly for me, is content, right? So are they posting blurry photos? Is it just selfies? Are they kind of getting some of those beautiful angles of things you can repurpose for ads? I mean, the ROI on influencer marketing, and I just sidetrack to ROI here, it's making sure that you can figure out what impact it has long term, right? So going back to those goals, and if you can repurpose that photo in an ad and then drive more business for you, then that's a win. So yeah, that's kind of how I like to look at it. This chart is super helpful in terms of kind of doing your own assessment of those influencers when you have them in front of you.
Okay. And so when you're researching influencers, we talked a little bit about like jumping on Instagram as taking a look at hashtags, taking a look at geolocations. Are there other tools that you use to see how do you calculate an influencer?
Yeah. So full transparency at Casual Fridays, we don't use any type of software, and that's because we truly really believe in that organic human to human connection, but I understand that sometimes we need to get the speed going. So with the speed kind of at play, there are tools like Cisions, Little Bird. I know Group High is one that you've been familiar with. Empowered is another one. Definitely some of them are more on the pricier side, so I do see small businesses kind of deterring away from that. So I don't want people to be discouraged because they can't afford the software that they can't work with influencers. Mm-hmm. And that's where Excel comes into play, right? Like, I'm not saying spend all this time, like, just, inputting things into Excel, but I think the research part of it and qualifying these people is way more important than getting, like, a list of 200 people in the New York area that have, that's super helpful, but it can't be standalone, right? Don't use the software without the human element. And, with the human element, you're going to have to track. So there is a little bit of a beautiful balance between both of them.
Very cool. Okay, I'm going to throw a curveball at you.
No.
Okay, so of all the influencer campaigns that you've done, which one is your favorite?
Ooh. I'm back at the thinking emoji. Okay. I think I've got it.
Okay.
So, this is a hotel in Anaheim that is a conference hotel. It happens to be like blocks away from Disneyland. I mean, like, beautiful hotel. It gets a lot of leisure business, but also a lot of business, like conference type of stuff. And so this was one that we were all kind of hesitant on. So a duo called the at Magic Kingdom Mamas. Okay.
What?
And yes.
That sounds badass, dude.
The Magic Kingdom Mamas, man. And as soon as we saw them come through, they are that example of they have a large audience, but mediocre content. Okay. Mm-hmm. So ding, 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 alarm bell goes off. I'm not sure because you just heard me preach about content. I'm like content, right? So, we start communicating with them, but of course I can't deny that their niche is like, okay, leisure audience to Disneyland, hotel happens to be a couple of blocks away. Like this is I have to go for it, if not just to test, right, what happens. So, we went for it. And the good news, and actually the biggest part of the puzzle, was that the hotel understood the value of influencer marketing. Because the first thing we did was we did a trade offer, right? We didn't pay them. Okay. We said, hey, you guys want to come to our hotel for 3 days? We're going to give you tickets to Disney's like Mickey Mouse Halloween party. That's like a thing that happens. Like all the kids love it. So this was in October. So we gave them tickets to that so they could, go to that particular event. We had them take over our channel. So they did an Instagram takeover. Wow. They did stories takeover during that time. And they drove so many people to our page, like incredible amount. Okay. So this is where it gets crazy cool. We decided that we were going to do a giveaway as soon as they were done being at the hotel, because another big piece of working with influencer marketing is it's not just figuring out what's good for me and my brand, it's what can we give to their audience, right? So the Magic Kingdom mamas, what can we give their audience to take this all the way and make their audience feel the love? So we said, hey, we'll give you a 2-night stay for you to give away for your audience. So as soon as they were done staying with us, they opened up this contest. They said, hey, tag a friend, follow these guys, which the hotel, and enter to win. So in a span of 3 days, I kid you not, we got 7,000 new followers. What? 7,000. Like I can't even. Okay. And I thought we were 3 days. 3 days.
That's insane.
There were 30,000 entries, you guys. 30,000 entries to this contest. So we get all these followers, right? So we do this thing, and I'm like we're like, oh my gosh, this is happening. And I just want to say, like, not all influencer campaigns are going to knock it out of the park, but that's why you keep trying. That's why, if I hadn't taken a chance on something that I was like, hey, hotel, give me not only, they gave me 5-night stays, right? Because they gave me for them, and then they gave me, the stays for the giveaway. Okay. And then the last piece of the puzzle, we said, why don't we offer a special rate for the people that don't win the contest? So we got 20% off to everybody who didn't win on that contest, and we booked 98 room nights, you guys. 98 room nights for that. So $15,000 in revenue in just a span of those 2 weeks. Like, from a favorite standpoint, it's not just because it was amazing and crushing it in the results, but it was just incredible to see, what if we do this? What if we push the envelope here? What if we try this? And that was, to the point where it's pivoted our strategy on our Instagram from the hotel, because now every 4 posts, we post Disneyland. Because, hey, that's what the audience wants to see. So it's actually changed our strategy from this influencer collaboration. So that was huge and incredible, and it wouldn't have happened if we weren't like, hey, let's take a chance on something that we're not deeming to be like, the holy grail of content. So, definitely a favorite.
I've got chills from that. That's absolutely amazing. Just the results, the ROI of that's absolutely ridiculous. And I love how you already had people where you piqued their interest, where they entered the actual giveaway, but instead of just saying, okay, sorry, you didn't win, and you let them go, you had a backup strategy to go ahead and keep them engaged. So, right. Brilliant. If you guys aren't doing any giveaways, definitely take that into consideration. I think having influencers do giveaways for you would be really cool.
Definitely.
So, having said that, I actually want to go ahead and highlight Josh real quick, just because Josh is kind of like your go-to
guy. Oh, yeah. He's my man. Totally. Well, no, that's not what I meant. He's not my man like that. He's like my man of like, he's the influencer and I'm the strategy.
For sure. So for you guys that are tuning in, I just want to show you his Instagram profile, just so we could talk about, look at the content that he's creating. And Mariana, I don't know if you could see this, but I actually pulled up his Instagram, and you could see all of the delicious bites that he makes, and just how carefully detailed he is when he's putting his stuff together. Now, was he originally a photographer, or did he just stumble into this?
I definitely it's his story, but he's so talented from a baking standpoint, and then the photography, I think, just kind of came with time. I don't think he's definitely not a professional photographer. He is what we would call an amazing content creator, and I think that's why brands like CNBC Prime Restaurant Startup has reached out to him. He works with Harry and David's. He definitely, people gravitate towards him because you can see that he is that, right audience, perfect niche. You're totally hungry looking at it. And it's just incredible. So what he's created there is just a really good example of what we preach, which is, content creator with a really good audience that knows what to expect of him, right? And he runs contests and things like that, but he stays very true to his brand. So that's something that's very, again, in line with what we believe in and how we run things.
That's very cool. Okay, so Diana actually just left a comment for us, and she said, going back to the chart that you had created, we could create a chart that's a binary decision diagram. So it's like, what are you trying to accomplish? If you're trying to accomplish X, then go ahead and follow this route or that route. So kind of like a flow chart. But Diane, even in my brain, I'm still trying to create like a flow chart for which live streaming platform is right for you. And it's just been like in my brain for a while. So if that's your thing, girl, I'm gonna hit you up.
I like it. I think that's actually a really good idea because parallel to all those things of how you're looking at it, I always talk about the strategic goals being, there's sales, where's the money, there's growth, how do we get that audience, there's buzz, how do we get the talk, the share, the likes, and then how do we get the content. So I think that's really cool if we could kind of somehow showcase, hey, here's how you pick this based on these goals, right? So I still haven't connected those, but I like that thinking. That's definitely the right way to go.
So if you're a small business owner, an entrepreneur, and you want to work with influencers, what are some key things that you need to have in place? Like we've talked a lot about like how to go ahead and research influencers. We've talked about campaign ideas that they could go ahead and leverage, but how do they make sure that they don't land in legal hot water, especially with FTC guidelines and all that jazz?
Yeah, so this is another biggie for sure, and we really break it down into two places. We have agreements and contracts. Okay, so a little bit of the agreement side of it is mostly done via trade. So that has to do with not giving monetary compensation for what you're giving. So for us, it could be that hotel room I was telling you guys about with the tickets or things like that, where it is trade based. And at that point, we deploy an agreement. So that agreement actually is the same one that we use on foundontac.com. So that's actually a proprietary software that Casual Fridays has, and we use it to curate user-generated content. And you can actually, we can probably link it to everybody.
Yeah.
But the guidelines that we use, to ask, hey, can we use this photo? Can we repurpose it? That is something that is between the influencer and us in making sure that we are able to repurpose their content. So that's one piece of it. And if you are paying, that's where the contract comes into play. So again, there is templated information that we use that we worked with a lawyer on. Obviously, I'm not going to give law advice, but it is important to have that information in that agreement or in that contract to make sure that that both parties understand what is happening.
Oh yeah.
And we use DocuSign, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. So once we build up that contract of, hey, you're going to provide 4 photos of the pool area, you're going to provide, 3 take Instagram stories or whatever the trade is going to be, and then in exchange, we're going to, offer this, and then whatever compensation that is. Here are the rules for the photos, and then they sign that. Comes back to us, and then we're ready to roll. And then, of course, the disclosures. We always make mention of that. It's on the influencer. They pretty much, if there's somebody who's been working with brands, they know how that goes. But it's always really important to mention it from the brand perspective as well, so all your bases are covered.
Very cool. So we actually have one question from Patty. Patty says, of the 7,000 followers from the previous example that we were talking about, did most of them actually stay followers, or did they just drop off?
No, they actually did. I would have to pull back the numbers so you guys can see, but I think the followers that we got were like 10,000, and then we ended up at the 7,000 mark. So that's actually, we did lose about 3,000 throughout that whole thing. But the Instagram account is going strong, and I think that does have to do with us pivoting the strategy.
Oh, that's
right? So saying, here's Disney, right? Like that's what you want to see. So, and that was an okay commitment for us to make long term. That's where I would be wary of, what giveaway are you doing? Does it make sense for your brand? And can you give the audience that you keep what they're looking for? So yeah, we keep a lot of them. I'd have to check back on the percentage, but yeah, I was expecting a big drop off, and we didn't really have that.
That's cool. That's a great retention rate. That's like 7,000 out of 10,000. That's pretty good. So Samantha's asking another question. She's saying, like, is it better for the company to approach an influencer, or should it be the influencer that reaches out to a company? And she's asking this question in reference back to what just happened last week with that other influencer, which, by the way, I'd love to get your thoughts on her pitch if you're cool with that.
Yeah, I think we'd have to talk a little bit more through it because I'm not sure I read it. But
okay, so she's basically a YouTuber, and she had reached out to this hotel and basically said, my partner and I were coming into town. These are my followers, subscribers, this many Instagrammers. I would love to go ahead and write something about my trip by staying at your hotel and yada, yada, yada. Well, he fired back, and he was just like, well, if you stay here, then are your likes going to pay the people that make your breakfast? Are your likes going to go ahead and fix or pay the wages for the people that clean your room and all of that good stuff? And so she was just so super offended by it. She did this whole YouTube video saying like, I wasn't expecting to get this type of backlash, but then now there's this ongoing debate of what's an influencer versus entitlement, right? So, and I'm sure you get this all the time because like
all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's so, when you're reading that pitch out to me, I'm like, wow, that sounds like exactly what we deal with on a day to day. That's kind of what happens. Sometimes, there's the research, we're being proactive about reaching out, and sometimes people come to us and they say, hey, here's my reach, are you willing to do some sort of exchange? I think a little bit of that comes down to, poor communication skills. Like, you should never respond. Like, that goes back to the human-to-human connection. Like, are you really going to respond? Like, from a brand perspective, if your mission and your values are, not whatever that guy responded, like, that's not how it should come back. Like, you can't. No, sure. Sometimes, like, the Magic Kingdom Mamas, like, that was amazing. You actually probably did pay for all of that, whatever that, they were asking about. But that's just not really good communication skills, in my opinion, right? To talk to someone that way.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things because, and just to support you on this as well, as like coming from an agency background where we did work with influencers, sometimes we did work with influencers if they did create a lot of great content and if their audience actually drove something. There's nothing more annoying than trying to work with an influencer and they're demanding all these certain things, but then at the end of the day, when you look at your reports, and this is like super important for you guys. So when you're working with an influencer, you want to see the return of that partnership. And if you see that like you've gotten 0 clicks, blah, 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 it's not worth it. So,
right. Well, to answer your question, I think going brand or influencer first, I don't necessarily have a hard line between either of those. I think it's very important for you as a brand and your team to take a step back and say, what is our influencer strategy here? So when you get a pitch like that, you're able to look at that chart and say, this is aligned with what our goals are. This is aligned with what our business is trying to do, and then take the next step from there. I mean, sometimes it's nice because somebody hands you the numbers and then you didn't have to do that research to find them. And a lot of influencers are doing that well. Like, they know that, we're busy. So, they don't have an agency behind them like small businesses do, like trying to get all this stuff organized. So it's great. You get this sheet of paper and it has all that information and you have to make a call. So it's important for us from the business side to be educated enough to say, does this meet the criteria and the goals we're trying to reach, and then take next steps from there. But definitely be nice.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Kindness is for you guys. Just go ahead and sprinkle that everywhere, right? Just everywhere. Kindness. It was just really interesting to kind of see of his response. But from what I read, and Samantha, because you're the one that posed this question, from what I read, he's done this a lot to other influencers as well. So I just kind of think he gets off on it. But I mean, I have clients that are influencers as well, and they have developed an actual media kit that says, this is what we do. These are the brands that we worked with. These are our audiences. I'm headed your way. I have to make content anyway. So, it would just make sense, if you're open for a partnership that you and I work together. Otherwise, I still have to create this,
Right.
So.
Yeah, no, totally. And then going back to just kind of answering what is needed to create that successful influencer campaign, I would say, like, take a step back, create that repeatable system. Don't worry about the software piece right now, right? You may find that you need more tools to accomplish what you need, but the first step is, what are my goals? What are we trying to accomplish with this program? How are we going to go out to research it? Is the client bought in if you're not the actual business, but is your client bought in if that's the case? And then how are you tracking this, right? So the outreach has been made, check. Okay. They've responded back, check. Okay. All those different pieces that come like aligned to that, and then the reporting comes last. So just know your whole process from start to finish, and then you can take the next step. Like, the rest is icing, right? Like icing on the cake. It doesn't matter if it's the right person, the wrong person. Sometimes you need to take some risk too. So if I take that risk with Magic Kingdom Mamas, I wouldn't have gotten the amazing results. So as long as you are able to offer that trade value, then, and it doesn't cost your business a lot, then why not, right? Like, why not give a few products, for free, or why not have somebody come to your business and dine for free? Like, those are the types of things that are gonna, give something for nothing type of thing, and see if you can build that rapport to continually work with that influencer.
Yeah. And I think also too, I mean, you can find other platforms if you wanted to find influencers. What was the one? It's called Isaiah. Have you worked with Isaiah before?
No,
Okay.
never heard of. Yeah.
So Isaiah is basically you put your campaign out there, and then influencers have to meet a certain threshold in terms of how many followers they have, how many YouTube subscribers, whatever it is. And then they'll pitch to you. They'll say, Mariana, this is the reason why I should be considered for your campaign. I could do this, this, and this, and this, and this is how much it would cost. So
Cool.
it kind of takes, it takes a bulk of the work, it makes it a little bit easier and to
Right, yeah.
But Isaiah is definitely one of those platforms that are out there. I haven't personally used it in the past year or so. I did that back in the day when I was working with Bumblebee. But yeah, I mean, influencer marketing is a ton of fun for sure. I mean, just coming up with ideas, figuring out what works, and then leveraging that. I would say for influencer marketing these days, what type of content would you say most agencies are actually looking for?
Well, I think, user-generated content. So going back to there, we're finding the most success, especially with this new announcement of trying to get, conversation and good content out there that incites, that connection between people. By far, the content that outperforms everything is that user-generated content, that look and feel, right? Which influencers can bring to the table a lot of the time. So yeah, I would say that the most anytime I try to put like some sort of graphic on top of something, it's like, no, we don't want to see this. I'm like, okay, take it off, and I'll do a lot of this with advertising, with like one that has, here's my logo and my brand, and then the other one's like a beautiful photo of people just like, looking amazing with the event, and that people are like, yeah, buy tickets, So I think like that's the kind of stuff that we're learning, that people just want real, and real sometimes mean it doesn't need to be fully polished and perfect. It just needs to look like, if I was in your business or using your product, what would this actually look like?
Very cool. Well, Mariana, this has been absolutely amazing. You and I have actually been geeking out over this for it's funny because you guys are watching, but you've probably been watching like for a good 30 minutes, but Mariana and I were hanging out even 30 minutes before. So she and I are just like, so all good. I would say, man, I miss doing influencer marketing campaigns. I would probably have to say that my favorite was for the Del Mar racetrack when we did the world's largest Instagram meetup. Like that was pretty...
That was bomb. That was bomb. Yes, I remember.
You were there, and it was so much fun because this was back when Instagram was just coming about. This is when we were still doing like Instagram meetups, and it was the whole pinup burlesque theme that we had going on. We had classic cars come out, but we had about like 2,000 to 3,000 Instagrammers come out, and they captured pretty much every single aspect of the event. They got their hair done. They took pictures of the cars. The models took pictures with the cars. I mean, when you're talking about user-generated content, it just created this whole like, whoa, we should definitely repurpose this. And influencer marketing, you guys, like take that into consideration. If you don't have the budget to hire a photographer all the time, definitely hire someone like Josh or Mariana's team that has connections with these influencers that could create content that's really going to pop out in the newsfeed and just be a total thumb stopper, right?
Totally. No, I agree. And that meetup, I mean, I forgot about that, but that was amazing. That was, again, your biggest fans have already either been to your business or used your product. So why not try to convert those people? So by bringing everybody into one place, like that's how you start converting people. Like the online, the interwebs are so big that sometimes we're like shooting in the dark, but it's like that was a beautiful way to bring everything together. So if you have a strategy, it just takes a little bit of outside the box thinking, and you can get there. I really truly believe that.
Well, I need to make my Chula Mama blog and try to get some Legoland tickets now.
Add that to the to-do list.
I know. Add that to the running to-do list of everything that I have to do. Well, having said that, if you guys have any other questions about influencer marketing, we're pretty much winding down at this point. I am so surprised that you did not have a glass of water.
Me? Oh, didn't you not hear, guys? I'm from Argentina. Like, I can just like go, and like just refuel in a bit. I'm just feeling good. Yeah, no, this was totally fun. And I'm happy to answer any questions in that group as well. So ping them over and I'm happy to just kind of share some of my intel or strategies that could work for you guys.
For sure. And so what she's actually, the Facebook group that she's mentioning, you guys, is the social media strategist group. So that's where I like to basically curate my best friends and colleagues that are super smart when it comes to social media strategy and like collect them kind of like Pokemon. I caught you. Put them in the Facebook group because they're experienced. They know exactly what they're talking about. And so if you want to tap into people that didn't just learn social media from a Udemy course overnight, sorry Udemy, but actually has experience, walks the walk, talks the talk, has results that they could actually go ahead and share with you, go ahead and join the Facebook group. And I'll drop that into the comments because I wasn't even thinking about that. And shout out to Jessica Carlin, who said that she was also at the Instagram meetup, the world's largest Instagram meetup. Cool. I know. We need to bring that back. Or we just need to go back and just dress up again.
I would definitely be a fan of that. Sure. Any excuse to Instagram something pretty. Let's do it.
You know what? Okay. Sorry. Okay. We're totally going to be sidetracking now, you guys. This is like girlfriend to girlfriend talk.
Do it.
Have you seen, did you see the viral video about the Instagram husbands?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a boyfriend.
Now they're saying you need to have an Insta friend. So you and me, we need to go hit up Westfield UTC because the renovations that they made there are just like absolutely bananas.
Let's do it. I'll wear my sweater. I know it's a little chilly out there, and we'll do it. I'm so down.
And then, like, just take it off for a second, and like, okay, take it off.
It's like, hey. No, that's great. I love it. Instagrammable opportunities all over the place. I'll be there.
Love it. All right. Okay, so if you guys are just tuning in right now and you want to learn more about influencer marketing, go ahead and watch the replay. If you guys want to go ahead and be notified the next time that Lights Camera Live goes on air, go ahead and leave the comment, subscribe. And Robo Steph, Robo Steph will go ahead and jump in and give you a reminder. I know, Robo Steph.
It's too good.
Yeah, maybe that should be like my next message, the broadcast that I send out. It's like,
I'll do the emojis and you'll do the Robo.
Oh, good. Maybe that'll just be the replay message that I send out. It's like, tune in.
Too good. I'm so sorry I interrupted. I was just like taken back by the Robo Steph thing.
Oh, no, it's fine, dude. You did your whole emoji things and all that, so it's amazing. All right, you guys, we're going to go ahead and sign off. I didn't see any other questions come through, but as Mariana said, if you have any other questions about influencer marketing, go ahead and leave a comment. Mariana and I will go ahead and jump in. Actually, Mariana will go ahead and jump in because she knows everything about influencer marketing.
I'll try. I'll get right in there, guys.
All right. Bye, you guys.
Bye, everyone.